cyanobacteria grow. There's chemical treatments to kill off bacteria, or there's biological treatments in terms of adding something else that will either preferentially eat it or decompose the algae. Each one of those is very much specific on the conditions of what you're looking at in terms of the nutrients already there, whether it's treating the symptoms or are you actually going to try and fix the issue at source. So essentially, you probably see from the Lake Erie one, it's a long-term process, and it is essentially trying to control the nutrients coming in is what we have to do. It's taken a long time for Lough Neagh to get to the condition it's in now, and unfortunately it's going to take a long time for it to recover, but I believe we have to start really again on looking at what we're going to do there. Just a short slide on the drinking water inspectorate. So that's a small team that sits within NIA. Obviously, it's there to independently regulate Northern Ireland water. So there's been a lot of queries around the safety of the water coming out of Lough Neagh. Obviously, Northern Ireland Water is responsible for the supply and distribution. You've all heard the statements that have been out in terms of the levels of treatment that was going on there at the time. Again, just to reiterate, if anyone has any of those concerns around quality, should be reported through to NI Water. Okay, finally then, just what is DERA doing now? There's a lot of calls for actions to take place. Obviously, we're continuing on the operational side to respond to reports of the blooms. So, you've said about the number of reports that have came in. We are working with the local operators. If there's it's a bathing water site, we're working with local councils to ensure that appropriate signage is put up there in those locations. There's also been a water quality steering group established, that's cross-departmental, including Department of Infrastructure from the Northern Ireland Water side, and that's really going to look at what are the existing policies and are they good enough, are they strong enough, and maybe Paul or someone will be able to speak a bit more on that in a wee bit. But essentially, there are actions out there already, which we need to look at. So, nutrient action programme, that is what we're doing for agriculture. We're looking at the Northern Ireland water discharges and how do we address those unsatisfactory intermittent discharges, which would be the CSO spills that we're all aware of, and it's been on the news all year as well, particularly over in England. So we know there's issues there with any water discharges that need to be addressed. The soil nutrient health scheme is a key one for agriculture. So every farm in the country, every field in the country is going to be told what the level of phosphorus is within their field, and we really need to see that followed through in terms of how do we reduce the levels of phosphorus over time, and that we will see the benefits of that in time in our waterways also. Mary mentioned a little bit about the environmental farming scheme. So under the new agri policy, there will be new measures set up through farming with nature. And a lot of those are in development, so we do have opportunity to shape and scope those and certainly look out for any consultation that comes out around those measures. Obviously, we work with local groups as well, the Environment Fund, and the numbers of people here tonight really shows just how important water quality is and our water environment is. So there are opportunities there in terms of Environment Fund to help small groups and local groups to take action in their local areas. And finally, there's still ongoing research. There was a piece of work commissioned earlier on this year really to look at the impact of climate change on Lough Neagh, and that includes looking at what is causing and what may cause the risk of cyanobacterial blooms into the future. So that work started earlier this year, and hopefully we'll be able to give updates on the progress of that over the next period of time. Okay, and that's it. Thank you.
Okay, folks, we'll maybe have a few questions here now. Probably we're going to have Mick and Wally's going to be the audience, so anyone, if you just put your hand up, you have a question to ask. You have, right? Robbie?
Hello.
Robin Marshall,
So I used to be development officer for the Ulster Angling Federation, done it for about 14 years. So I've had many a ding dong with Gareth and a few of his colleagues about water quality issues. But the one question I have to ask is, the Water Framework Directive came in 2003. With 20 years on, and our water quality is going backwards. Surely the people within NIEA need to, we've said this before, more of the same is not going to sort this problem. You need to think of new solutions, you need to sort farms out, you need to sort CSOs out, you need to sort septic tanks out. In fact, when I was in post, I discovered that they didn't even know where all the septic tanks were. So there are big issues. As I say, we've had 20 years, and if we don't start to do something very soon, there won't be anything left to save. That's the bottom line. Thank you.
Anybody else want to ask a question? Put your hand up.
Hi, I'm Claire. I'm from Portland. A lot of my townland is surrounded by agricultural land that are really on the river. So I was wondering, what is the radius that farmers have to stay away from the edge of the river? Is there a limitation to which they can, spray fertilizer, or what is the regulation now?
Anyone give that answer?
I believe it's 5 metres.
And I think it's a recommendation, isn't it, as opposed to a regulation?
In essence, it's 10 metres, and it depends on the type of equipment you're using as well. It can go down to 5 metres if you're using low emission spraying. So 10 metres is the norm, and if you're beside lakes, it's further away, it's 20 metres.
Can I ask why NIEA is not enforcing that within the Surrey regulations? Because nearly every farm in the country is beside rivers, a lot closer on the 10 or 5 metres, guys. You're saying this is one of the driving factors to why we have bad water quality. But what is the department actually doing to try and solve this? They are not enforcing the regulations that is already there. There's no point in talking about bringing new regulations in when you can't enforce what's in place.
I think in response I would say, if we're told about it, we will enforce it, so if anyone here sees it, then
You're
report it
told
through.
about it on a regular basis. You see as far as we go as angling clubs, the amount of times there have been reports, we're based on the norm. We had one factory, really Martin developed that as a time or two on. All he's ever done with them was give them regulations or give them guidance. He's never followed up on it. In fact, he's no longer running now. But what I'm saying to you is, these regulations is in place. You are supposed to be the enforcers. It shouldn't be up to Joe on the streets to ring in and tell you. And many of you should go around farms to check to see, during the Surrey season, to see when they are spreading. And where they're
So
spreading.
we have a small number of inspectors. We can't go around every farm. So if people see it and they think it is too close, then by all means we'll call it through, because every incident is investigated. So if anyone here sees it, call it through to the emergency pollution hotline and someone will investigate it.
Well, the emergency person, pollution hotline speak to somebody in England, hasn't got a clue.
Well, out of hours, you get to speak to someone and then they will pass it back to someone here.
That's part of the problem with the bodies, with the NIEA and that there. The regulations is there. You can't come to a meeting here and say that it's the phosphates and the nitrates and that there, and it's this and it's doing it. You can't just blame you, because you're blaming farmers. The way you know how enforcing what regulations is already in place.
Okay, Lee, thank you very much. Very good point. Can anyone else? Zach up here, go ahead. If you don't mind, can you say your name and what your relationship is to the Loch, or if you don't want to say, that's fine, but...
Yeah, that's okay. My name is Declan Coney. I'm an ex-fisherman on Loch Ness. I'm also a boat watcher and conservationist around the Loch for the last 40 years. And the first question is to NIA that you have known about this 30, 40 years, this has been ongoing and you've done nothing about it. So I'd like to know, you talk about reporting stuff. I've reported stuff regularly about pollution stuff, and you push it to a switchboard. And the first thing you're asked is, what concern is it of yours? What business is it of yours? That's as far as the conversation goes. Nothing's ever followed up. I have never seen any reports I have ever done. I have never seen anybody coming out. Nobody.
Every report is said will have a reference number. You should ask for that reference number, and you should be given the reference number. So anytime you want to follow up on it, that's what you call.
Yeah, but there's nobody. I've been at these rivers, and nobody. I've never ever seen any NIA state, staff out. Everybody's talking here about the Loch, the farming stuff. People keep forgetting. It's not. It has been mentioned once the other night. It's the Loch Ness fly. The Loch Ness fly is the whole ecology of the Loch. If the fly's gone, the ecology is finished. And the second question is to Peter, Loch Ness Partnership. You're in existence 20 years, and can you give me an example in the last 20 years when there's been something positive towards the wildlife, something that has helped wildlife? The gullies are decimated, and you are coming in and the mismanagement and interfering with them. It's not doing them any harm. The three spars have took a massive decrease too this last wild red, shank, snake. All these things are disappearing. But where's the money going? All this money that's coming in, that's dubbed in for these things, there's no results, there's nothing to show for it.
Okay, is this working? Well, I think there is results, Deb, and I think you're wrong. I disagree with you. I thought I put a few good examples up on the screen. We're doing work at Killyculpy, as I said. I can go into that in more detail, we can talk about that. I know you've been in touch with Jerry about a few issues too. We've been working down in school lands with the curlew, as you know. We do habitat work on the islands. We've repaired the barrier on the breeding turn platform, torpedo platform, so more birds flies from the platform. That's pretty good.
What's wrong with River Island and Blackers Rock?
We survey River Island. That's what
you survey it, that's it. It's easy to survey, anybody can survey an island. But if you go on, have you been on actual islands?
Yes.
Yeah, what do you see?
What do I see?
Yeah.
Which island are you talking about?
No, predation.
Predation, yes.
You can go to any of them islands and look there, and when you go on a boat, the first thing you see is thousands of gulls up in the air. But when you walk onto that actual island, you're looking at there's 40 or 50 nests. There's dead birds lying everywhere. There's no you're not sorting out the vegetation.
You shouldn't be on it during the breeding season if the birds are breeding.
I'm a BTO ringer. I'm qualified. I've been on the islands from I was 9, 10 years of age. Then at the end, I know what I'm doing. I go out on the island, I bring gulls or whatever. You're only on the island 15, 20 minutes. That's it, you're back off and stop the disturbance. You're not causing them any harm.
I know we are a ringer, and we're working with Aidan Green and the CES group. So
yeah, we're you just come in and you open up a ringing project to kill you.
Well, that's right, and that's a good thing. I think that's a good thing. Very positive thing. I think we are doing positive things. I don't think we're the problem here. No. We're a small organisation. There's a report circulating in the room tonight about what we did during a landscape partnership. We delivered a lot of projects. We're a small partnership. We're a team of 3. How can we possibly solve all the problems in Loch Ness? That's just crazy. I mean, the people who are responsible for it are people who can deal with the issue are maybe in the room, the departments.
Okay, Declan.
Sorry, we're just going to have to move on because there's
Sorry,
not people here.
Declan,
I don't want this control be.
Can we try and keep it to one question, please?
One question only, please.
Thank you. My name is Conor Howard. I work for a community-based network on the Western Shore. About 40 years ago, I was a student down in the Limnology Centre down at Trad Point, where the University of Ulster had Loch Ness property surveyed to one of the best surveyed lakes in the whole world, apparently, and that I agree with, but obviously that is gone. But I remember hearing at 16 or 17 years of age that if we get 2 or 3 weeks of particular weather, warm